Good evening and welcome to Video Night Part 3. In this edition, I mainly have political videos, a lot of which are from the No Kings protest that I didn't play on my No Kings protest video from yesterday. And there's a bunch of other stuff to check out, so I'm just going to dive right in. Here we go. It's like a fucking war zone. Leave it to the Democrats. Oh, he feel much better now.
Fuck you!
All right, there we go. So that's the first one. Uh-oh. All right, first one down, next one. Let's go to the next one. That was from Graham Allen, by the way. Well, technically it's from Sammy Nathaniel. Great job. Get these thugs off our streets. No kidding. The next one from Eric Daugherty. Breaking: President Trump just dropped a major No Kings trigger post. This is only 5 hours ago. Trump 2028 and beyond. They might have to protest every single weekend at this rate. I think I've seen this one before, but this was on President Trump's account, as you notice up at the top. Oh, they're gonna get so triggered over this one. Oh my god, 2,100? I think it's gonna go all the way up to like 3,000 something. Okay, way beyond that. E for error. Oh my god, so much Trump. Way too much Trump. All right, Shani Rich, he literally malfunctioned. So this looks like an interview at a No Kings protest. There's a lot of these style of interviews. Not familiar with those who were asking the questions in this string of videos that I'm going to play tonight. They're mainly conservatives asking questions, but you know how conservatives do things. They don't want to blatantly come across as conservatives at these leftist rallies because they'll get shamed and they'll get booed and they won't get to the bottom of the questions that they want to try to get answers to. Of course, they almost never do. But anyway, here, let's check this out.
Voter ID is racist, yeah? Like, should you need an ID to vote?
No, I don't think so, no.
Is it racist that CVS asks you for an ID to buy Sudafed?
Well, I think that there are certain people that should not be allowed to buy Sudafed, so I think it's a good idea.
So it's more important that you use an ID to buy Sudafed, but not to vote for the person that runs this country.
Uh-oh.
I'm not exactly sure.
Well, of course you're not sure. Because you're incapable of rational thought, critical thinking, you know, those things that we grew up learning and knowing and possessing that they've completely thrown to the wayside. Secretary Sean Duffy, men aren't toxic and masculinity should be celebrated. Young men today should be responsible, respect women, get a job and work hard, go to church, be honorable. You know, the common sense things.
Is
Let's have a look.
right that the GOP is luring in men by legitimizing their racism and their desire to be kings?
Oh no, how dare they?
Right, because you have Republicans who say men aren't toxic, right? We want to celebrate masculinity. And what's happened with young men today is pretty remarkable. They've been told you should be responsible.
No, dude, they don't want men to get toxic. Men can get really fucking toxic if they really wanted to. Because men, they have, what's that saying? They've got a monopoly on force, don't they? Of course they do. Men do have a monopoly on force. Look at Iran back in the 1960s. I'm not sure when they switched back over to Sharia law or whatever they've got there now. It was probably, I don't know, in the 70s. Like at the end of the 70s, something like that. Like the movie Argo, you know, that Ben Affleck movie. I think that revolution was kind of around that time when they switched over from liberated women. They got to wear bathing suits. They got to wear whatever they wanted out in public. And then they shut that shit down real quick. It was men who did that. Men collectively decided, yeah, we ain't going to do that anymore. And the Iranian women, all they could do is just sit back and take it.
Responsible. You should respect women. You should get a job. You should work hard.
And you should respect men, too.
Go back to church. Be
Men are capable of everything.
That's what they're called to do by this new movement within the Republican Party. And they've embraced it, which is wonderful. But I love your opening on the No Kings protest, which is actually a Hate America protest. Donald Trump
That is what it is.
He won the 7 swing states. He won the popular vote. And then everything he's doing, he actually ran on the campaign trail.
Well, and a fair point to be raised as far as Trump being a king or not being a king. If he were really a king, wouldn't he have shut down any public area with regard to the No Kings protest on federal land, especially like in the Oh, hell, what was it? The National Mall. And wasn't that where they gathered in Washington, D.C.? Barack Obama in 2013, he shut down the National Mall when there was a government shutdown. He actually shut down every single national park in the entire country in 2013. Barack Obama did that. Last I checked, he was not a Republican.
Told everybody he was going to do this, and the majority of Americans voted for him. This is just disenfranchised Democrats, but also George Soros is funding it. The Socialists of America are funding and supporting it, and so are the Communists of America supporting this rally. So again, it is the offbeat crew.
Yes, they are. And if you saw my video from yesterday, I did play a video clip where somebody showed a list of all the sponsors for a No King protest in one of the cities. I believe it was in California. I watched so many of those video clips yesterday. I can't put my finger on exactly what city it was, but they showed all the sponsors. There were like 30 different sponsors on this image that he displayed, and exactly what he's saying, that Communist Party organizations and Socialist Party organizations and so forth.
That are angry that are going to come and protest and say Donald Trump is a king. No, he's just a great, strong American leader.
Yes, he is. Amen. All right, let's go to the next one. Olivia Krolzik, Old People Convention or No Kings protest. I guess this is what happens when you only watch CNN, probably.
Well, we just got back from the Geriatric Convention, otherwise known as the No
The
Kings
Geriatric
protest, where
Convention.
Tens of thousands of liberals all across the country took to the streets, demanding that America not turn into an authoritarian country. Hey, genius, if Trump was a king, you wouldn't be allowed to have a No King protest.
The same people attending this protest are the same people who 4 years ago told you that you'd be kicked out of school or fired from your jobs for not wanting to take an experimental jab or wear a mask.
The same people who applaud
right about
churches
that.
were shut down, but not strip clubs as essential businesses, are trying to tell you that Trump is a threat to democracy.
The only
Okay,
people
that's
under
hilarious.
50 who were at this protest were the children who were being brainwashed and forced to be there holding signs that they couldn't even possibly understand.
And then we
Oh
had
my God,
some
dude, these
morbidly obese,
fucking people.
what I think was a woman, came up to us and said to her that under Trump, she's going to have no rights.
Which I'm kind of disappointed because I voted for Trump so that I could lose my rights to work, to vote, to pay taxes, to drive.
And she goes, well, you know, he's going to take over the rights of your body and you won't even have any choice anymore. And I'm like, yes, your body, my choice.
Kind of
I didn't say you could speak.
Okay. I mean, with regard to the children, imagine if abortion had always been illegal, how many children would have been at that protest. That's the real irony behind abortion, in my opinion. They would have a lot more kids that they would be able to brainwash if they just simply never got abortions. All right, Nick Sordor, breaking President Trump confirms he will not budge on Schumer's demands of $1.5 trillion for illegals healthcare to reopen the government. Good. Stand strong, 47. Not a single penny for illegals.
So the shutdown continues.
Of course it
The
does.
Republican Party's not going to pay $1.5 trillion to illegal immigrants coming into our country, coming in for a lot of reasons, coming in from prisons, from jails, from all over.
Yeah, he's right about that, but just want to make a quick mention. He's really leaning into this $1.5 trillion that's being used for illegals. So I guess perhaps Democrats have taken a different stance. From what I understand, only $200 billion of that $1.5 trillion was to be directed toward Medicaid, including for illegal immigrants. But look, it's possible that I'm wrong. I mean, President Trump is the president, not me. So maybe he knows something that I don't know. But I believe that I did read that somewhere, that $200 billion of that $1.5 trillion was to go to illegal immigrant health care. So I don't know. Just take that for what you will.
From Venezuela, many countries, we're not going to do that. So the shutdown continues. It's a Democrat shutdown. It's a Schumer shutdown because his career has failed and it's over. I met with President Zelensky, as you know, today.
All right. Just making his remarks on the shutdown. This one's from Vince Langman. Hilarious, which this is hilarious. I did have a chance to watch this. Most of these I didn't watch all the way through. I just watched the first few seconds just to see if I'd include it or not. But this one I did. I couldn't not look at it because it was so funny. Jesus, walking on water. Well, running on water. Okay. All right, we'll go to the next one. American Voice, please leave my country and go grip somewhere else. That'll have you.
If Donald Trump was here right now and you can give him
No
one
Kings.
message, what would it be?
Probably shouldn't say it. For real.
Whatever you want.
Fuck him, man. For real. Fuck him. He is a hateful, spiteful, small.
Why do you want
human
sexual
being.
relations with President Trump?
If
Oh my God.
Trump was here today, right now, what message would you give to him?
Go away.
Really?
Just go away.
Go away.
And if you had a message for Donald Trump, if he was here right now, what
he
would
will
it be?
go away in 2028.
You know how you said you don't know you gonna get in
Well, it's
heaven?
2029 technically.
I hope you pray, dog. I hope you pray for your soul, cause everybody can change. I know some people said, you know, that he can't change. I mean, I'm a follower of Christ, so everybody can change. So, you know, that's how I view things.
He was here today.
Oh, dude, the follow-up question: do you forgive Trump? Do you forgive him for what he's done? You know, being a follower of Christ and all, you should be forgiving of President Trump. And then my follow-up to that would be, okay, so what should he be asking forgiveness for? Please give me something specific instead of just those stupid-ass buzzwords. He's a misogynist. He's a xenophobe.
Hey, you had one message to give him. What would it be?
Go back to the home where he belongs.
And if Trump was here right now, you could give him one message. What would it be?
I wish for you the same thing that you wish for immigrants and marginalized communities in this country.
Okay. All right, we'll move on to the next one. David Medina, Portland, atheist anti-Trumper, went from shooing us away to taking down my number after I invited him to church. This is what I mean by no one is too far lost. After I began to walk away, the small amount of good still inside of him revealed itself. Although he hates Trump, the man said he didn't agree with the Charlie Kirk assassination. The man then revealed why he became an atheist after experiencing hurt from the church and his family after his grandma died. I reminded him how Jesus would have treated him. This is why I do what I do. The Holy Spirit was working in Portland yesterday, friends. Never give up on anyone or any city. God is bigger than you can imagine.
Why do you hate Trump so much?
I haven't liked him since 1986, and it's personal.
I know where your guys' agenda is, and you can just keep moving, okay? Because I've had these discussions with you guys before. You say you're independent journalist or whatever the fuck, and then you nitpick what I say. So please move on.
Have I not been fair to you? Okay.
No, you have.
I'll respect that.
No,
Okay.
I'm just saying.
They're with me. They're with me.
It's okay.
They're just my camera guys. They're with me.
No,
It's just
fine.
me and
That's
you,
fine.
brother. It's just me and you. That's it.
But we're done.
Okay. All right. All right, man. Hey, take care of yourself. Okay.
And I want to tell you one thing, okay? Charlie Kirk, I didn't agree with that. Not all of the left, you know, were willing to, are out there making fun of that horrible situation. I didn't like the guy. I didn't like what he, a lot of stuff that he stood for. But to take that kind of action and take him away from his wife and his kids, that's fucked up.
I know that you're an atheist, but I mean, I would love it if you came to church with me sometime. Just chill.
You know, I was raised a Christian.
Yeah.
My parents were Christian. My grandmother, who I was very close to, she came down with cancer. We moved her into my house, or into our house, and for 9 months during the age of, I was 15 at the time, my brother was 13, and we prayed, and we prayed, and we prayed. Please save our Nana. So we prayed and we prayed and we prayed, you know. Yeah. And she just got worse. And then it would be the nights where my parents were, you know, with her in the bathroom at 1 in the morning, 2 in the morning, and she's throwing up because of the chemo. It broke me. It broke my brother.
I bet.
And then when I started questioning, you know, when I started questioning my prayers and I started questioning the church, I got shunned. Family pushed me away. Just because I was asking questions.
What's your name?
My name's Spider Mike.
Spider Mike.
Spider Mike.
Can I just tell you something?
Yeah.
You being shunned for asking those questions is not what Jesus would have done.
Oh, I know.
And I'm sorry that happened to you. That's nonsense. Honestly, if I were in your position, bro, I'd probably be an atheist too. To be honest, dude, I'm being honest.
It was tough being shunned by the church, which I was very close to. And still, I just wanted some answers.
Can I tell you something?
Yeah.
I've had a lot of bad people, bad Christians ruin it for me too. There was a time I questioned my faith. Please don't let it be something that takes you away from actually at least believing in God, because it's between you and God. It's not between those people that ruined it for you, right? And so I really encourage you, man. I mean, you seem like a really good dude. It just sucks that bad Christians ruined it for you, because that's not how it's supposed to. That's not what Jesus would have done. Jesus would have been like, come here. He would have hugged you, and he would have comforted you, and he would have said, hey, these are the answers to your questions. They wouldn't have shunned you. He wouldn't have shunned you out of the church, man. So, anyways,
absolutely not.
Get down my number. I want to talk without cameras.
I'm sorry. What was
David.
I'm sorry.
David.
Yeah. I got bad hearing.
Yeah, David.
Construction. Construction here.
Well, that was a very nice conversation, and it took a non-political turn. All right, Vince Langman, they had no idea that they were being trolled. Old at the No Kings protest. Okay, old people.
Why is everyone
a lot of
here
old
so
people
old?
yesterday.
I'm just wondering, like, where's all the young?
I work for the Board of Elections, and that's all you see.
Oh, of course you do.
That? Where's all the young people?
How much funny business were you engaged with in 2020?
A couple weeks ago, there was one of that rat person, Charlie Kirk. I went and counter protested there, and everyone there was so young. They were so young, a lot of beautiful people. And then I come here, and I went to another ones, and everyone's just old. Why is that?
Everyone's so old.
Well, I'm just wondering, why is it all the old people are at these, and all the young, beautiful people are at his? Why is that?
He did better, whatever.
He did better. We got to figure out.
Well, look, I think if you want my opinion, I think the reason why so many old people showed up to the No Kings protest because they didn't want any rioting, they didn't want any looting, smashing windows, they didn't want all that on the news because it wouldn't have looked good. Because the Democrats, they put their party all over this protest, which is why virtually all of them started between 11 and 12 o'clock, and they were over by 2. Just about every single No Kings protest across the country were over. They were over within 2 hours. Almost all of them were. And I showed it on my video yesterday. I showed the entire map, all 2,500 locations. You can look at it on a map. It's interactive. You could zoom in and click on every single dot where there was a No Kings protest, and it gave you the time. Each and every single one were over within 2 hours, and they were in the middle of the afternoon. So I don't know. That's my opinion. I think that's why they did that, because they were desperately trying to keep away the younger crowd because they tend to be a lot more violent.
What he was doing.
Well, the way he did everything on the internet and, you know.
So we got to get on. Oh, so we got to get on the internet.
Well, you got to get on social media.
Okay, so.
Democrats have always been lackluster.
Lackluster on the social medias.
I would argue they control social media.
Until more attractive people
Silicon
to come
Valley.
to these.
Well, you don't need to
We need better looking women at these. Not that, of course, you women are beautiful. No, not you guys. You guys are beautiful.
Okay. On to the next one. Red pill dispenser, some valid points.
So gay people are gay because they were born that way. But trans people aren't their sex, even though they were born that way? Got it. It's interesting that young white men are only 10% of the population, but 98% of the military deaths. So much for that privilege.
Isn't that interesting?
So Kim Kardashian flew from LA to Paris because she wanted one particular piece of cheesecake, and then she flew all the way back. And yet, we're all here forced to use paper straws in order to save the planet. Always get the extra side of orange chicken, just in case.
That's hilarious. I just had that yesterday. Total
You
coincidence.
steal everyone's money and still end up 35 trillion in debt. Aliens are going to be super confused when they show up threatening to overthrow our leaders, and we're all stoked and offer to help. How come when white people move somewhere, it's called colonization, but when any other race moves somewhere, it's called cultural enrichment? This weekend, let's remember that another way to honor our servicemen is to not send them to die in faraway conflicts that have nothing to do with us.
Amen to that.
Remember during COVID when they painted circles on the grass in the park? And if you left your little circle, someone's grandma would die? Science.
Science. Science, science, science. All right. Next one. Derek Evans, No Kings protesters getting wild. Uh-oh.
Okay.
They're getting wild.
All right, I got you. Yep, I got you.
Heading out of the assisted living facility. That's CNN's key demographic. Well, not their key demographic, but that's the vast majority who watches them. CNN, MSNBC, NBC, ABC. Well, maybe I misjudged the Democrats. Maybe they wanted all the old people to show up because it's just more numbers, and they wanted all the younger people to show up. The only problem is they just held the protest way too early because a lot of these young progressive leftists, they're probably still asleep at noon. All right, next one. Define L's young lady is speaking facts. Just because you believe something, it doesn't make it true.
Do you believe that trans women are women? Or are you not willing to go there?
They're not. They were born men.
Oh yeah, I can ask another brief question. So if you want to reach across the aisle or, talk to people who disagree with you, how do you expect to do that when you won't acknowledge that they are humans who are the gender that they have transitioned to be? How do you expect to have this conversation if you won't say that trans women are women?
I'll give you this. I believe that some trans women believe that they're women, but that doesn't actually make it true. I know kids that think they're dinosaurs or dogs or cats, and that doesn't make it true. Just because you believe something doesn't mean that it's true. And the nice thing to do is to be honest and have a conversation and help these people who are feeling that way and understand why they're feeling like they reject the body that God gave them.
Amen. Absolutely. Heading on to the next one. America's American Voice. That's right. And Letitia James isn't above the law either, but she has an Obama-appointed judge, so nothing will happen to her. You are 1,000% correct. This protest is pure radical leftist insurrection. These are the fascists.
I want to point out this shirt right here. It says, "No kings in America, no one else above the law." Well, if we had a king in America, we wouldn't be having this protest right now because the king could shut this protest down. And if we had a king in America, we wouldn't have a government shutdown because the king would just say, "To hell with you guys, we're doing what we want to do." But we can't do that because we don't have a king in America. And the best one is, no one is above the law. But we allowed over 10 million illegal immigrants to break into our country. They all broke the law. So are they all of a sudden above the law? No.
Well, according to Don Lemon, a misdemeanor is not breaking the law. It's just breaking the rules. Although I could be wrong on this, but I would think that crossing the border illegally is probably worse than a simple misdemeanor.
No one is above the law. They broke the law, so they need to be held accountable for their actions and go back to their country and try to do it the legal way to come into America legally. But instead, Trump is trying to clean up our country, and he is being, Trump for prison. These are the shirts that are being advertised right here at the No Kings protest, and all of them totally go against what's going on in America. We don't have kings and illegal immigrants
Brainwash propaganda.
The law, so they need to go back. Let me know your thoughts on this one.
Look, my thoughts on at least the illegal immigration aspect of it is that if somebody crosses into the country illegally, it's one strike, they're out. They can't come back. Nope, they can't apply for citizenship. They can't apply for a green card, nothing. If you don't come in the legal way the first time, you're out for good. Anyway, Tony Lane watched the No Kings protest turned out more chaotic than expected with some unfortunate confrontations caught on video. I don't know how true the statement on the video reads. What do you think about how this protest unfolded overall? Any thoughts?
Hey, get in there! Get in there! You beat his fucking ass! Kick that motherfucker! Give him a goddamn... Hey, what the fuck?
Remember the Democrats, they said not one single instance of violence yesterday. Not one.
You ain't gonna take that goddamn shit rubbing on my truck like that. I told you before you did it. Hey, no, you're not. Hey, put it out. You gonna put it on my truck? Get the mother out of here. Fuck out of here. Let it go. Get the fuck out of here. Get the fuck out of here.
All right. Well, it would have been nice to have seen, I don't know, 10, 20 seconds before that whole thing started, like what fired it all off and why he got out of his truck. But if that dude was a Trump supporter, then whatever, dude. Fuck that guy. I don't really understand why the fuck he'd get out and start agitating like that. I mean, and then start fighting. I don't get it. Didn't really have anything, you know, message-wise that he seemed to have been getting out. But, dude, you can't reason with a lot of these people. They're just going to be violent as soon as they figure out which side you're on. All right, Cloud, according to this guy, it wasn't X users lying about the No Kings rally. It was MSNBC.
MSNBC got totally busted lying about the size. Fake news MSNBC got totally busted lying about the size of the No Kings rally.
Look at this.
They
Millions
did.
of people across the country
That was from
marching
2017.
as we speak against the policies of President Trump. This is Boston. Look at that. We'll continue to follow these rallies throughout the day
it was
here
Boston.
on MSNBC. Wow.
It is Boston,
8 years
but it's
ago.
not October 18th, 2025. It's August 19th, 2017 at a totally different counter rally. So real footage, fake news.
Yep, there you have it. Because then they'll come back and say, no, it was Boston. Okay, well, maybe we weren't exactly precise on the date, but it was Boston. All right, American Voice. How the fuck she so stressed she in front of a dispensary? By the way, her lungs are great.
Touch me again. Just touch me
Got
one more
another
time.
Karen.
The license plate is DT82566.
Too late.
Okay, what's the VIN number? Hold on. Fuck you! The VIN number is 3 Nancy 1 8 3 Nancy 1.
What's that got to do?
These people are crazy.
Wow, okay. Again, it would have been nice to see what sparked all that, but all right. The White House destroyed confirmed drug-carrying submarine navigating toward the United States on a well-known narco-trafficking transit route. Under my watch, the United States of America will not tolerate narco-terrorists trafficking illegal drugs by land or by sea. President Trump. He did mention this on Friday, I think it was, and there wasn't any footage that I could find, so it looks like they, well, not looks like they obviously unclassified this, but it's a full-on submarine. I thought it was a semi-submersible, which is a vessel that's like 90% underwater, but the top portion of it still, it's still above water. But no, man, this thing looks like a full-on fucking submarine, man. Absolutely crazy. There's no sound, by the way. I don't know. What do you think? Is it a submarine? Looks like one. And now it's blown up. Took that one out. Now, my immediate question is, was this the vessel that they rescued 2 people from? Because they did a bombing of a narco-terrorist vessel recently. This has to be the one. Although I don't know how anybody survived that, let alone 2 people. But they pulled 2 living people out of the water. And they're trying to figure out if they're going to either be prisoners of war or if they're just going to simply be prisoners. Not sure if we got the answer to that yet, but they were mulling that over. All right, Sammy Nathaniel, good job. This is what I voted for. This No Kings protester just got immediately arrested after shoving a federal agent. Fuck around, find out. And this is in Portland. Fucking idiot. That was an instant felony. Man, dude, shit was getting wild down there yesterday. Probably the same thing today. And that's pretty much the daily occurrences in front of the ICE facility in Portland these days. Looks basically just like that. All right, one bad dude. This dude makes some really valid points about these protesters.
When you look at the size of this crowd, never forget that these are the exact same people that voted to shut down your businesses. These are the exact same people that supported forcing you to take the shot and that supported you losing your job.
Absolutely.
Yeah, there's a lot of them. And they all want to hurt you.
That they do.
And they've made it very clear.
Yeah, they would exterminate all the conservatives if they had a choice or if they had the ability to do so. But yeah, they absolutely did. They absolutely voted for all that bullshit back in the COVID era. All right, Tim Burchett. In America, we don't have a king, but we do have a dadgum good president, real Donald Trump, celebrating the fact I don't have a British accent with a charbroiled Whopper from Burger King. This thing got almost 60,000 likes. That, I don't know why, but that really took me by surprise.
Hey everybody, Congressman Tim Burchett here at your friendly neighborhood Burger King, enjoying my No Kings Day with some traditional flame broiled goodness in my hand right now. Could you imagine the Democrat Party calling about no kings when they literally elected their candidate for president, Kamala Harris, with no election? Imagine that. The
Imagine that.
irony of it all. Like it says right there.
Oh, it's so ironic.
Get ready to eat like royalty. You rule America. We don't have a king in this country. We've got a president. He's doing a pretty darn good job.
Amen.
Thank y'all for sitting with me.
Of course, everything he said was the truth. But regardless, they don't want to believe it. They just think that Trump is just some illegitimate king for whatever reason. Okay, Rojas, I love my president. Keep America great. $1.99 gas on No King's Day of all days. Look, today was the first day that I got gas in almost 2 months, and where I live, it was about $2.80. And I live in the St. Petersburg, Florida area. It was about $2.80 today. So still waiting on $1.99. I believe this guy says he's in Colorado. So if you're in Colorado and you're getting $1.99 gas, oh man, it must be nice.
See that price behind me? $1.99 for gas. While you guys are protesting No King's Day in America, I'm paying $1.99 here in Colorado for gas. So yeah, keep protesting your fake No King's Day when there's really no king in America. I'm gonna continue paying $1.99 for gas. That's right, $1.99 for gas. Thank you, Trump, for bringing down gas prices. While you continue protesting the fake king that really does not exist because you guys are all delusional, you
brain dead Matrix
Democrats, I'm going to continue paying $1.99 for gas, and I'm going to continue living the great American dream because of our great president, Donald J. Trump. Thank you, Donald J. Trump, for making me pay $1.99 for gas finally. Thank you, Donald J. Trump. $1.99 for gas. Donald J. Trump. $1.99 for gas on No King's Day. Thank you, Trump. Thank you.
Well, there you go. Yes, I didn't have to get gas in the last couple months because my car gets great gas mileage and I live extremely close to everything. I'm extremely lucky. All right, Speaker Mike Johnson, the First Amendment gives Americans the right to free speech and peaceful protest. It's one of the many things that make America great. But the irony here is obvious. If President Trump were a king, the government would be open. Democrats needed a spectacle. Chuck Schumer needed cover. The Hate America rally was their attempt at both. Now that Democrats have had their protests and publicity stunts, we hope they can come back to their senses and end the Schumer shutdown and reopen the government this week. I highly doubt that's going to happen. I hope I'm wrong. I hope they finally, give in and they reopen the government because there's nothing that Republicans are demanding at all except just to simply fund the government in the exact same way they have for like the last 5 or 6 years. I highly doubt it. I don't think it's going to happen.
Let's start with the No Kings rallies. You called these Hate America rallies. What do you mean by that?
Well, that collection of folks that I listed were certainly part of it. We congratulate them on a apparently violent free speech exercise. I was a First Amendment lawyer for 20 years. We defend that right. But the irony of the message is pretty clear for everyone. If President Trump was a king, the government would be open right now.
Well, hold on. Do you think that a constitutional lawyer, a First Amendment lawyer who is a registered Democrat who's been practicing law for 20 years, do you think that they would have the exact same stance as Speaker Mike Johnson has with regard to that they should have every right to freely protest anything that they want as long as it's not violent, peaceably protesting? I don't think so. I think they would say, no, absolutely not. If you're a conservative or you're a Republican or you voted for Trump, no, we should absolutely take away their First Amendment rights because they're all a bunch of fascists and they're a bunch of racists.
If President Trump was a king, they would not have been able to engage in that free speech exercise out on the mall, by the way, which was open because President Trump hasn't closed it. In the last shutdown, 2013 era, President Obama closed the National Mall. It closed all the national parks, didn't allow people to engage in all this. So, I mean,
There it is. That's where I heard that from.
Stunt. They needed a show. Chuck Schumer needs cover right now. He's closed the government down because he needs political cover, and this was a part of it.
We'll get to the shutdown, but just on this notion that these are hate America rallies, and you not only talked about anarchists, Antifa advocates, pro-Hamas wing, and you said this is the modern Democratic Party. But I remember not that long ago what you said after the murder of Charlie Kirk, when you said that we should view fellow Americans not as our enemies, but as our fellow countrymen.
Yeah, I've never called anybody an enemy, but we call out...
Hate America rally or, Antifa, pro-Hamas, those are enemies.
Well, there were a lot of hateful messages yesterday. I mean, we have video and photos of pretty violent rhetoric, calling out the president, saying fascists must die.
And that's the problem with Republicans, and it's an unfortunate weakness. And unless things get extremely extreme, they're not gonna move their position on that.
I don't think that's loving speech. I don't think that's friendly speech. And I don't think it's pro-American to say those kinds of things. So it's not about the people. It's about the message. It's about the ideology. And I will stand here every Sunday and talk with you about the dangers of Marxism and socialism and how it's led to the literal death of tens of millions of people in the 20th century alone. It is a dangerous ideology, and it is anti-American. It goes against everything that you stand for.
But you're not saying that this is all of the Democratic Party. It's not all of the people that were out there. I mean, it kind of reminds me of Hillary Clinton said,
just 98% of them,
or half of them, as the basket of deplorables.
I've never said that. I never called out. I never said it was the whole Democratic Party. But you and I have to acknowledge the reality. Wait a minute.
So this is the modern Democratic Party.
It is, because look at the evidence. Look at what's happening in New York. They're about to elect an open socialist Marxist as the mayor of America's largest.
Yes, and none of the Democrats. You can't find a single Democrat that has denounced him. Not a single one. The same with, what's his name? Roy Cooper, and who was that other guy? I can't remember the old dude's name. John something, whatever. The guy that was wishing death on his political rival in front of his children or whatever. They just, they've gotten so hateful over the last several years with their Trump derangement syndrome and everything. They are becoming a socialist party. They already are, basically. I mean, like, if you ask everyday Democrats, I mean, they've done polls, they've done surveys on this. Who in your opinion, is leading the Democratic Party right now? The most common answer is AOC. And I'm pretty sure that she's called herself a socialist. And if not, she certainly got pretty socialist ideals.
There's a rise of Marxism in the Democratic Party. It's an objective fact, and no one can deny it.
It is.
We lament that. We decry it. We're trying to call it out because I want to make sure the next generation of Americans understands that is a dangerous...
Exactly, because how would you explain the No Kings protest if they weren't taking that position? This No Kings protest accusing President Trump of being a king, a dictator. This is how psychotic that Democrats have gotten. And it's the highest... The highest power Democrats, the highest level Democrats, the federal Democrats, the Congress members, they were pushing this No Kings protest for weeks. So they can't say, that doesn't mean the Democrat Party stands for this, like the Democrat Party as a whole doesn't stand for this. Fuck yeah, they do. They absolutely do. They put their name all over the No Kings protest.
To go down. That's part of our calling. I think part of our responsibility as elected servants of the people.
And it looks psychotic because it is. They have gone full on psychotic. Mila Joy, No Kings protester, tries to mess with a police officer's horse. Huge mistake. In L.A. God, what an idiot. Oh, of course, the police are the big, bad, evil people for doing that to a sweet, innocent man. Uh-oh, we got community notes. Readers out of context. This video is from June 14th of 2025, not during the No Kings protest. I was kind of curious about that because No Kings protest, there's lines of cops in Los Angeles on horses that are shoving people out of the way. That didn't make sense to me, but I just kind of went along with it because, nothing makes sense these days. All right, conservative ant, I'm done with scum. Find him. Find who?
Look at that shirt. Look at that shirt. 8647, explain it to me. I like the colors.
Kill the son of a bitch.
Kill who?
He's 47th president.
Really?
Wow.
What's your name?
Dick Safer.
Glad we got that on camera. That's
wow.
illegal, right? You don't threaten the president. You don't threaten anybody. But that's the problem with your guys' side. You guys get so emotional, you feel you need to threaten people.
Yep.
But don't worry, we're spreading love, and we're going to fix it.
Fuck you guys.
We appreciate
Ironic,
you.
isn't it?
God bless you. God
So
bless.
much for the party of tolerance.
Hey, you
the
need
party
to,
of love.
You need to find God. That's your problem. You need to find God.
Putting daisies in rifle, freaking rifle barrels. Come a long way from those days. All right, rapid response 47. They're referring to me as a king. I'm not a king, says President Trump. So this, I believe, happened this morning.
Do you think that the government shutdown is all about this rally that's happening this weekend, the No Kings rally?
No, I mean, some people say they
I don't think so.
delay it for that.
I don't think so.
This
It's
is
more
not a
than
king. You know, they're referring to me as a king. I'm not a king.
Right. No, but just so that Chuck Schumer could go and say, I'm fighting Trump.
Yeah, well, Chuck is, at the end of the line. He's being...
I don't think so, because what are they getting out of it, though? They're not really getting anything substantial out of holding a protest and saying, okay, now we can reopen the government. The immediate question would be to Chuck Schumer is, why did you need to shut down the government to posture against Trump and hold a protest like that? I don't really see where they connect those dots as to why they would have to essentially hold the government hostage, hold hundreds of thousands of people's paychecks hostage. Like what, 700,000 people aren't getting a paycheck. Why? So you can hold a protest and now it's okay. Now we can reopen the government now. I think that would really piss off a lot of people.
By everybody that they poll against him. And what he did is he did the right thing a couple of years ago on something like this. And he got hurt by his party. And it doesn't, I don't think it matters.
I think I know what he's talking about.
I think he's just so dead that he'll do anything. I think they could just stay out forever. I mean, to be honest with you. Now, what we're doing is we're cutting
I think
Democrat programs that we didn't want because, I mean, they made one mistake. They didn't realize that gives me the right to cut programs that Republicans never wanted. Giveaways, welfare programs, et cetera. And we're doing that, and we're cutting them permanently. We're cutting a $20 billion project that Schumer fought for 15 years to get, and I'm cutting the project. The project is going to be dead. It's pretty much dead right now.
And that's what's so ironic about this government shutdown. If Democrats truly keep the government shut down for 6 months, 7 months, 8 months, maybe even a year, if it's shut down for that long of an amount of time, then all of these jobs that are going to be furloughed or permanently laid off, numbering 700,000 or even more, it would show the American people how unnecessary these jobs really are, because the government, look, there's a lot of things that are going to be painful, of course, because there's a lot of people that these positions take care of. However, if you prolong this thing for 6 months or even a year, look, like humans, we're very adaptable. We're very resilient when needed. And I think that it's just really going to come back to bite them. And I mean, the people that are advocating for smaller government, they're loving this, especially with the stance that the Democrats took on it. It wasn't the Republicans who did that. To me, it would have made more sense if Republicans shut down the government to save on funding or trying to reduce the national deficit, anything like that. But ironically, it's the Democrats, and the Democrats, they've always been mainly about bigger government, more spending, more social programs, more entitlements, and the exact opposite is going to happen if they keep the government shut down. And I think like whatever power President Trump has in his position to downsize the government, I think he should absolutely start exercising that, because they're holding the government hostage for no good reason at all, other than trying to extend the Affordable Care Act tax credits, which were due to expire at the end of November because COVID's over. That's why that they created those tax credits to begin with in 2021. They're simply expiring because COVID's over, but they want to extend it indefinitely because Obamacare is an absolute failure. And they want to blame Republicans as to why everybody's health insurance is going to double at the end of November. No, it's Democrats have to hold that bag because they're the ones that created Obamacare in the first place. I don't think any Republicans voted for Obamacare, but if they did, let me know in the comments. But I don't think Obamacare got a single vote from the Republicans. But I could be wrong on that. So I don't know, man. We're just gonna have to see where it goes. American Voice: police officers confronting an illegal entitled woman. An illegal entitled women. Police officers confronting an illegal entitled woman. We need to deport every single of illegal immigrants to their homeland. Good grief, man. Do you still support ICE for mass deportation?
Do you have your passport?
Somewhere.
Can I see your passport, please? Do you have your visa? I don't need a visa, sir. I am a U.S. citizen.
When did you become a U.S. citizen?
When? 2006.
Okay. Well, do you have your passport?
Why'd you have to think about that?
But I don't have a passport for it. Do you want to see it?
You have a, you do have a passport?
I do have a passport, sir, because
Okay.
I just went to, thank you, I just went to Mexico in 2022.
Okay. Yeah.
So I do have a passport, yes.
Okay. So what I'm going to have you do is step outside.
For what?
I want to talk to you.
What?
Because I want to talk to you.
We just want to talk to you out here. We don't want to have any interference from your brother.
Or that guy in there.
Let him cool down.
He's in the backyard.
That's
Yeah.
good. Come on out here. We'll just quickly have a quick chat.
Can I stay here?
No, no, I need you to come outside. You're going to speak with my partner here.
All right. Hi, sir.
Hi there.
You guys want to step over here? So, here's the deal. We're not going to accuse you of anything. You don't have any wants or warrants, okay? But we do see you're on a visa status with a criminal case pending. So you could be eligible for deportation under the new administration. Okay, that's what they all say. So talk to him real quick.
All right. Okay, I'm not sure where that's gonna go. All right. Sammy Nathaniel, so true. MAGA, no king in America, only a great President Trump. No better way to spend a Saturday than watching No Kings protest from the Trump Tower in Chicago. Hilarious. Of course they're gonna gather in front of Trump Tower. Why wouldn't they? You know, it looks like a lot of people, but to be honest with you, oh, okay, so it does go down that way, off to the right. Say this whole area right here, what, a couple thousand maybe? In a city of what, a metropolitan area of what, like what Chicago, like 12, 15 million people maybe? I mean, look, if they get an accurate number as to the amount of people that were down there, I bet it's probably still less than 2% of the entire metro area of Chicago. I bet the vast majority of these people came from suburbia. All right, A. Gene Robinson, every one of these cities, Philly, D.C., Chicago, New York, Boston, has one thing in common, a deep, dying ghetto. And who's marching in the streets today? A gaggle of white liberals demanding to protect the very chaos that kills us daily. Oh, and their black plantation gatekeepers, the Sambos, they want to preserve the murder, they want to preserve the fatherlessness, they want to preserve the overdose deaths, robberies, and borderless cities. They need the ghetto alive to justify their politics, but we're done being props in their liberal experiment. We don't want crime. We don't want chaos. We don't want death. President Trump is fixing what they profit from, and that's why they're screaming. Yeah, Democrats, they are losing the black vote in droves, and that's probably why they're desperately trying to brainwash as many people as they can to be anti-ICE to protect all these illegal immigrants, because they got to keep their constituency, whether they're black or they're brown. Either way, they're losing Democrat voters. They're losing a lot. Just different viewpoints. Boston, San Diego, Chicago, New York City, Washington, D.C., Philadelphia, Minneapolis. Different crowds, different areas, which lasted supposedly for only 2 hours. All right, Wall Street Mav, ICE raided the rideshare area at Chicago Airport. 2/3 of the Uber drivers were arrested. Don't tell me that isn't wage suppression. You can't even get gig work without having to compete against illegals. Yeah, well, that's exactly what it is. And I remember during the COVID era in New York City, there were illegals that were driving Uber because there were I could be a little bit wrong on this, but I believe there were nonprofits, illegitimate nonprofits that were doing work, getting people to register for an Uber under their name, and then they would pass that account on over to an illegal immigrant who would drive Uber on their behalf. Anyway, there was some racket going on in New York City during COVID, which was allowing illegals to drive Uber when it wasn't even their account that they were using to drive with. They were just trying to circumvent the legal, the legal process of being able to drive for Uber. So this doesn't surprise me at all.
Did you guys see they just did an ICE raid at Chicago O'Hare's rideshare parking lot? Like, as an American, you can't even get gig work anymore. Like, think about it. You have to compete to be able to drive around other people, or you have to compete to drop off people's food.
Crazy.
So they did an ICE raid at the Chicago O'Hare parking lot, and they said it was at least 50 to 60 cars out there. And when they were done, there was only like 15. And they're saying that they're not suppressing our wages, right? Good so grief. Let me get this straight. They're not suppressing the wages, but you have to compete with more than double the amount of people who were supposed to be here.
They're absolutely suppressing the wages 100%. Of course they are. Because if you're an illegal immigrant, you basically just have to take whatever wage they're willing to give you. That's it, because you're not legally allowed to work, so I'll just take whatever the hell you'll give me. Plus, we found out through Secretary Sean Duffy, Department of Transportation, that there were over 30% of all semi-truck drivers on the road across America driving semi-trucks were immigrants. Not sure if he said illegal. He probably just said immigrants, because 30% of all truck drivers being illegal immigrants, that just doesn't make sense to me. But perhaps I'm wrong. Maybe 30% were illegals, but I know at least 30% of them were immigrants, but a sizable percentage of them were illegal immigrants. And the Department of Transportation, they're forcing semi-trucks to go into those weigh stations. I'm sure if you've been on the interstate before, you know what a weigh station is. They're directing all the semis to go into the weigh station, and they're checking everybody's credentials who has a semi-truck, and they're yanking all the ones who are illegal. They're doing this across the country right now. And they've pulled out so many illegals out of the system for truck driving that legitimate truck drivers are now starting to get fair wages again. They're starting to get offers per mile with the level that they've not seen in years. I've seen videos, and I'm sure that I played at least 1 or 2 videos on my show, The Swamp, which is Monday through Friday. Memory serves, it was about a week ago when I played a video where somebody was talking about that. Like before Secretary Duffy's Department of Transportation started yanking illegal immigrant truck drivers off the road, it was like 15 cents a mile or 20 cents a mile or something like that. And after they started pulling all the illegals off the road, now companies are offering 25, 30, 35 cents a mile, like substantially more money, because there's not so much competition anymore because they pulled so many of the illegal immigrants off the road. All right, anyway. So, yeah, I mean, gig work, pretty much any industry where there's illegals, especially gig work, because, you know, just like truck driving, getting paid per mile, that's a pretty big thing. All right, America memed, dude in the background watching his job disappear.
I gotta do it, I gotta.
Oh, yeah, this is ridiculous. Of course, it's Amazon. I would argue the human's still faster.
So he's going to be like freaking out. That's so cool.
But still, the robot's not getting paid. And you know that they're going to work on autonomous vehicles too. I mean, they've already got that figured out. That's Waymo for you.
All right.
So I don't know, man. It looks like that's the future. Look, I actually just watched a video on Amazon drivers yesterday about there's a class action lawsuit pending against Amazon because the drivers, they don't have enough time to stop to take a leak. They have to piss in bottles while they're on the road delivering packages because they have to deliver something like 200 packages per shift. And they say it is not possible to stop and take a break and still have the ability to deliver all those packages. So I guess a lot of Amazon drivers are carrying bottles around having to pee in them. And even one showed that if you open up the sliding door on the side of the Amazon truck, it opens up this gap at the bottom of the door that you could just simply pee onto the street while just parked on the side of the road. Crazy, man. Absolutely crazy. It's definitely a soul-sucking looking kind of job working for Amazon delivery. All right, Mila Joy, MAGA marches in the midst of No Kings protesters. Gal says her dad is a violent criminal illegal who was picked up by ICE and she wants him deported. What?
So as a far-right fascist, I brought some friends to the No Kings rally here in Seattle. We're walking amongst them right now. Natalie here, if you recognize her, came up from Portland. Got Mark here. Natalie brought her own immigration sign. If you've heard about her dad, her dad's here illegally, and he's in prison for doing really awful things, and taxpayers are having to pay his bill in prison. So Natalie's sign says, Cinco tu madre, si no amas a la migra. What does that, migra? What does that mean?
Means F your mother if you don't love ICE.
Uh-huh.
Ah.
So should they deport your dad?
Absolutely.
Uh-huh. Do you care
Wow.
to share why your dad is currently serving time?
Yeah, he's serving time because he raped me my entire life until I finally...
So what's ironic is that she's in the No Kings protest, but there's so many white liberals that are at this protest that I bet you that not a single person went up to her to chastise her or criticize her over her sign, because none of them, they don't have a fucking clue what it says.
We ran away and got away from him. He was a horrible person. Obviously, that's more than just enough to say. He also used to beat my entire family. And anyways, he's still living here in the States, obviously, getting paid for his living to stay in a prison where he gets fed 3 times a day, where he gets to learn English, where he gets to learn how to do things as if he were an actual decent human being, as if he deserved it, which he does not. So I want him out of this country. I want him out forever. I want all of them who are not here legally to leave.
You heard it here first. Deport Natalie's dad.
You heard it
Start
here.
there.
Amen.
He's in prison in Oregon right now.
Please get him out.
Well, if they break the law in the United States and they have to go to prison for a substantial period of time, I stand by my idea that they should build a big prison complex up on Attu Island out in the middle of the ocean, which is technically a part of Alaska, so it's the largest uninhabited island the United States owns. I think they should build this big prison there and just send them all up there. All right, Antifa took on a motorcycle club. Uh-oh, this is going to get crazy. Oh, shit. Wow, man, that's bringing back Proud Boy memories.
It was that guy right there. It was that guy right there.
Yeah, dude, you don't want to be fucking with the bikers. All right, Breitbart News. Election denier Kathy Griffin leads a chant of "This is what democracy looks like" at a No Kings protest. Of course it's in Malibu. Fucking of course it is. Fucking rich assholes. Yeah, this is what democracy looks like. A bunch of fucking Hollywood rich-ass dumb fucks standing out in the middle of the street blocking traffic screaming, "This is what democracy looks like." You can't make this shit up.
This is what democracy looks like. 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 Yeah! Yeah, Kathy! Yeah! Donald Trump has got to go! Hey, hey! Ho, ho! Donald Trump has got to go! Hey, hey! Ho, ho! Donald Trump has got to go! Hey, hey! Ho, ho! Donald Trump has got to go! Hey, hey! Ho, ho! Donald Trump has got to go! Hey, hey! Ho, ho! Welcome you have democracy!
They're honking as in, leave me the fuck out of it. Because they know if they don't honk, they're going to get shit thrown at their car. They're going to block the car. They're going to smash the windows.
That's what makes America great. Love, not hate.
See, they can't play that shit in my state. You can't block the road because you'll get run over. Because the drivers are legally allowed to do so. If they lay a finger on your car, you can run them over. That is the law in my state. Sure is. Can't block a road. All right, Mila Joy, man thinks anti-ICE protesters have drank the Democrat Kool-Aid and are wholly misinformed.
Sir, what do you think about this protest here?
I think it's pretty stupid.
Why do you think it's stupid?
Well, because the law enforcement is out here trying to defend our country by getting the migrants out. And what's happening is you got a bunch of people who have been ill-informed or have basically drank the Kool-Aid
that they have.
Are doing things that they think are right but are actually very wrong.
And why do you think in America people think they can just push the police and get away with it?
Because for so long there's been nothing done about it. They just do it, and then the next guy does it and does it and does it, and nobody goes to jail, no one gets arrested.
He's 100% correct, and they're still doing that shit in Portland. They're still doing that in Portland. They're not rounding up tons of them, and I think a lot of the problem is because the lack of assistance by local law enforcement, because I guess technically the feds, they can't I guess, technically run down the street. I mean, maybe if they're assaulted, I'm sure they'd be able to catch the guy if they take off running. But apparently the feds are only able to defend federal property, that they can't actually go out. I mean, I could be wrong on that. And if I am wrong on it, then exactly why isn't ICE and other federal agents going around Portland and rounding them up? Because a lot of the Antifa fuckers, they're standing 2-3 blocks away before the cops come up. And it's just a tit for tat back and forth. And I don't know, man, they're just not arresting nearly as many people as they really should be.
And now people are starting to realize that if you touch the police and you break the law, you're going to go to jail. This administration is not playing around. These are federal workers and state workers. They need to be protected, just like everybody else needs to be protected.
Well, all these people are standing out in the middle of the street. If ICE left the building, I don't know where it is, probably behind the camera. If their vehicle leaves the facility and ICE tries to drive down this way, down the street, and all these people are blocking it, they're obstructing federal agents, which is a crime punishable by up to 8 years in prison. But they're not rounding up these people and arresting them for obstruction. They're not. They're just very slowly trying to inch their way through the crowd as they very slowly start to get the hell out of the way. And I think they should be doing that. I think they should be rounding up every single person who is obstructing ICE.
So if you're going to come down here and assault these police officers and assault federal officers,
yeah, that comes
what are you
with
going
20
to do to
years.
regular citizens? It means you have no moral compass. And if you don't have a moral compass, it's a problem.
That it is. And again, that's obstruction. But those cops are not arresting them. They're just trying to shove them out of the way, make them leave. But they're not going to go anywhere. They're just not going to. All right, so the next one, fantastic Vice President J.D. Vance from Sammy Nathaniel. Wow, U.S. Marines are going crazy for VP J.D. Vance. Hoorah! Give him one more.
Hoorah, Marines! I didn't hear you. Hoorah, Marines! God bless you, Marines. God bless you, Camp Pendleton. It is so much fun and such an honor to be out here to celebrate 250 years of United States Marines. Now, I gotta say, first of all, thank you to so many of the fine people who are here today.
All right, I think I might have one more of these. That is a lot of Marines, man. All right, Trump broke Harry. Let's see, with the weird AI video. Oh, yeah, this is the one where Trump posted on his, I'm assuming it was his True Social account, but it could have been on his X account. The one where he's flying in a fighter jet and he dumps a bunch of shit all over everybody. Well, I didn't realize it at the time, but the person who caught all of the shit that fell from Trump's fighter jet was Harry's assistant, actually.
Donald
so he's
Trump
commenting on this.
attacked me on social media last night. That's
he
right.
triggered.
He posted this really gross AI video where I'm included, and you just have to see
Well,
for
why don't you
yourself
cry
to
about it?
believe it's real. Take a look.
Hey, man, it's freedom of speech. Oh, yeah, this is on his True Social, I think.
Yeah, a real post by the president
Yeah,
of the
that
United
happened.
States. As soon
You
as
got
I
trolled,
saw that
son.
video, I responded to it by saying, that plane wouldn't have made it off the ground with your fat ass in the pilot's seat. And
Oh
I
my
stand
God, you
by
really
that.
got
I mean,
him.
Look, if this doesn't prove to you that Donald Trump is a complete and total loser, I don't know.
Really? That was your big comeback, Harry Assistant? Well, you're just fat. You're fat,
But
President
Will,
Trump.
He's posting AI videos of himself in a crown, dropping feces on the American people in the middle of the night. What I just described to you
He's pissed
is
'cause the left
somebody
can't
who's
meme.
mentally unwell.
In large part, they're
It's
not
just what
allowed
it is.
to.
7 million Americans, including myself, just got out there and protested against Donald Trump, and his administration's response is a shitty AI video. Yeah, I think
Literally.
the Democrats are doing pretty good. There's so much more I can say about this. I made a long-form video on my YouTube and my Spotify show. Link in bio if you want to hear more.
Yeah,
from me
I ain't gonna
about
bother
this.
with that.
But like,
waste of time.
we are so screwed as a country with this guy at the helm. So screwed.
It's hilarious, dude. He got so triggered. Oh my God, what a beta, getting so damn triggered over that. All right, Mila Joy, lady claims she owns the street and demands that the Trump bus leave. I think this is in Connecticut.
What? What are you doing on the street?
Why can't I be here?
Because you're not supposed to be here.
Why not?
This is a moving billboard that we don't want in our town. Thank you.
Is it your street? Why?
Do you own it? I pay taxes here.
You pay high taxes too, don't you? Highest taxes in the world. That's why everybody's leaving Connecticut, because of people like you.
And she drives a fucking
We're
Audi.
staying here.
Of course she does. That is hilarious.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't forget the middle finger, Karen.
Look at this lady. Look.
She's in an Audi, of course. She stopped. It's a bitch.
Dude, that was too good.
I went, no, follow logical conservative. Oh, that's it.
LogicalConservative.com. All right. Look, I heard about this the other day. I don't know how true it is, but apparently electrical or a cost for your electric bill in Connecticut is extremely expensive, and that some people are paying more for their electricity than they're paying for their mortgage. I heard somebody said that their electricity was over $1,000 for a month. I'm not sure if that was during the winter time last year or what. It was just somebody just in passing when they were talking about it. They said that their last bill, or actually, no, to be fair, I don't think they said their last bill. They said that I had a bill that was over $1,000 for my electric. I was like, God, man, that's fucking crazy. All right, Internet Hall of Fame. Men will be men, even in outer space.
On his feet. Oh my God in heaven! Oh no! Oh my! So slow! It is electrifying. It is. And there's the rock. Rock bottom. Rock bottom. Turn around. Turn around. Big show up on his shoulders. He's walking around with it. Can you believe it? No way. You might be right. Underneath it, Styles rolls through. Sammy's got Styles! Blood Thunder Bomb! Look at Sammy, look at Sammy!
Oh man, that's hilarious.
Trouble in paradise! Oh my! CM Punk with...
Yeah, that's men being men, all right. That was good. All right, Liberty Pill memes. This explains a lot about why Elon does what he does. This is fascinating, man. I didn't really think of it this way.
He seems like insane and chaotic from the outside. Why does he have the Boring Company? That doesn't make any sense. He's drilling all these tunnels underground. Why would he do that? Well, if he wants to go to Mars, humans aren't going to live on the surface of Mars. They're going to live underground. So you're going to have to build massive tunnel complexes underground. Well, why does he have a solar company? You know, he's going to have to be pretty good at building power plants. So why don't you build large solar fields? Because there's no real estate problems on Mars. So you can build like a 5-mile solar field on Mars if you wanted. Why is he building a robotics company? Why does he have all these Tesla bots? You're not going to have 5 million humans show up overnight, but you can ship millions of robots ahead of time and use them as your labor force to help build up everything, and they don't need atmosphere or any of these other things. True. Why does he have an AI company? Well, you need some sort of intelligence to coordinate and run and terraform the planet. Why does he need a battery powered car company? Because you're not going to be running internal combustion engines. There's no fossil fuels to consume on Mars, so you need battery powered cars to be able to drive them around. So it's actually coherent when you see that entire framework. He wrote it all down while high and drunk, and he's like, this makes so much sense. I'm so smart.
Well, he also didn't mention Starlink, internet, space-based internet, to be able to send signals from Mars back to Earth. You could probably set up Starlink around Mars to be able to establish some sort of internet connection, even though it would be atrociously bad compared to the internet that we have here. The latency would be insane. Like, what is it? It's like 20 minutes or something like that. I'm trying to remember how long it takes for a signal to get to Mars from Earth, but it takes a while. It takes a bit of a long time. All right. Patricia, Islamophobia doesn't exist. There's nothing irrational in an irrational fear, which is the definition of a phobia. Islam's main goal is to eradicate Western civilization, and Democrats are allowing it to happen. Yeah, man.
There's
they really are.
nothing irrational about fearing a culture that does not respect or tolerate Western civilization. I hear so many leftists throw around Islamophobia. That's a made-up term. Okay? There's nothing irrational. An irrational fear is the definition of phobia. There's nothing irrational about seeing Islam and its culture and its values and its beliefs and its behaviors and saying, this is a problem. I'm scared of this. Islam is not just a religion. It is a lifestyle. And their main goal is to eradicate Western civilization. And Democrats are letting it happen all over the planet. Look at the UK,
Yeah,
for example.
all over the
In
planet.
the year 2000, in England and Wales, 7,000 reported rapes. In the year 2024, 71,000.
Wow.
And those are just
Holy
the ones
shit.
that are reported. What changed in that time? Oh, I wonder. That is an
Yeah.
800%
Big shocker.
increase. And y'all don't see that as a problem. Women are scared
No,
to walk
they're
the
not allowed to
streets
talk
of
about
the
that.
UK right now. And you won't listen to them when they talk about it. You call them racist. It's the truth. They're afraid because these men do not respect women. It's in their culture. Islam doesn't even see grape as a crime. And to be prosecuted for grape in this culture, you have to have 2 men witnesses that will testify that it happened. Otherwise,
Well, isn't it also true that in Sharia law that if your wife refuses to have sex with you, that you can starve her until she finally gives in?
the woman gets punished. The UK and now America are sacrificing their wives and daughters for diversity credit. And it's not phobic to say that because that's what's happening. Every single area that has welcomed a mass migration has been objectively destroyed in Europe. Every single
Oh, yeah,
one.
Europe is
Go look
cooked,
for
man.
yourselves. And instead of seeing that and saying, there might be a common pattern, you just call people racist for talking about it. You took a massive culture that hates women, hates children, hates gays, hates white people, hates America, hates Western civilization, brought them into Western civilization and said, hey, maybe because now that they're on different soil, they'll change their behavior. They'll change
no,
their moral
they're not.
compass and their core values because they moved somewhere else.
No, what they're doing is outbreeding everybody in Europe. That's exactly what they're doing. And France is going to be an Islamic Republic in about 40 to 50 years.
They're bringing it with them. And of course they are. Why wouldn't they? There have been so many studies done back.
This is why you cannot have mass migration into a country, because you inject way too many people in a short amount of time, and they don't have time to assimilate, and they refuse to assimilate. Instead, they'll just segregate themselves, like what's happening in Minneapolis with all of the oh shit, where are they from? Somalians, with all the Somalians, and that's basically what they're doing. Now, of course, in history, like in New York, with like the Italian Americans and the Irish Americans, like it was prevalent back in history too, but there were a lot of them that came over in a short amount of time, and that's what they tend to do. They tend to stick with each other, and they don't assimilate as quickly as they would if they were brought in a more controlled fashion, where you allow 600,000 immigrants in on an annual basis, not 15 or 20 fucking million.
In the old days, before the media today buried them. But in the early 2000s, late 90s, so many studies from educational, peer-reviewed places, Harvard University, Yale, all of these different spots that have some of the world's best research, right? Educational research, have done studies on mass diversity, mega diversity in communities.
Yep, it's absolutely crazy. And she's absolutely right. And that's what's so insane about what they're doing in Europe. All these studies and all this stuff had already been done years ago, but they decided to do it anyway. And I don't think that they just believe they're going to assimilate into Europe's culture and their values and their morals. I don't think that those who are really in charge of what's going on, I think they just want the world to fucking burn at the end of the day. That's what I think. I think they just want the chaos, because they just want all of our roads to eventually lead to depopulation where there's only 100 million people worldwide. I think that's what their ultimate goal is. I mean, they even had Free Palestine protests in South Korea. I saw the videos. They did. They had protests in South freaking Korea, for crying out loud. And I'm sure the same with Japan, and other Far East countries are probably doing the same thing. All right, Steve 2A, God, family, country, the owners of the world are godless and soulless and will sacrifice millions for their quest for absolute power. Here's Roseanne.
The owners of the world, who's that?
You want me to say who the owners of the world are? This is where everyone starts asking me. I love this, that you would ask me that. I might have to have a cigarette. It makes me nervous to say who they are. First of all, I've been saying it for 30 years, and people, when I tell them, their eyes just go dead because they cannot handle the truth. Remember that Jack Nicholson movie? You can't handle the truth. You don't want it. But it's so obvious that I just will say,
well, they won't believe it if you don't.
The owners of the world are the royals, kings, queens, dukes, duchesses, imams, popes, wizards that own every single dime on earth and bank at the Bank of International Settlements. That's the owners of the world who decide every war and arm both sides because they make money. They're arms dealers. They're Nazi arms dealers. They also make prisons.
Well, look, we already know Europe is doing this. That's common knowledge right now. Europe is doing exactly that. They're buying all the weapons from the United States. We're manufacturing weapons and selling them directly to Europe because we're not sending money to Ukraine anymore. Instead, Europe is buying all of the weaponry from the United States, and then they're handing it over to Ukraine. That's what they're doing now. Europe, they're doing that. And at the same time, they're getting, I'm not sure if it's the vast majority, but a sizable portion of the energy that they get in Europe comes from Russia. And they're paying Russia billions, if not tens of billions of dollars annually for energy, for natural gas and what have you, oil, natural gas and what have you. And Russia is using that to fund their war machine. So Europe is quite literally funding both sides of that conflict.
They also make, poisons. They're invested in depopulation.
That's what I did. Damn it. Didn't I just say that?
All those bullshit things out of the UN. They need to depopulate this planet of useless eaters, which they call us, because they have no place to.
Yeah, they also call us mouths. That's all we are. We're mouths. We just eat. We're consumers. We're ants. That's all we are to them. We're just ants.
To ride their horses. And conduct their fox hunts or their people hunts or whatever it is they do that we all really
most dangerous
know
game.
about
Is that what that
ignore. The reason that the vampire stories are so popular, take a look at that too.
Yeah, it's. I think she's right, man. Because that's why that they're screaming climate change and global warming and we're destroying the earth. Well, who's destroying the earth? Well, the overpopulation. There's just too many people. And then Elon started stating the obvious. He's like, no, we need more humans because the more humans we have on the earth, the better civilization tends to get. The technology gets absolutely crazy when we have a population explosion, plus our cultivation, the technology with cultivation. I mean, I'm sure that like person for person, we're capable of feeding a lot more people than we were 50, 60 years ago, just based on the technology that we have now. Of course, we still have a ways to go. We don't like the third world. They're not all overweight or anything like that. But, of course, there's still some work to do, but we're making great progress. All right. Rapid Response 47. After less than a year, we're now manufacturing the most advanced chips for AI here in the U.S. What a great moment, says NVIDIA CEO Jensen Huang. All of this started with President Trump wanting to deindustrialize the U.S. His tariffs were a pressing agent in making this possible.
This last week was a historic week. We manufactured the most advanced AI chips in the world, in the most advanced fab in the world, here in America for the first time.
That is awesome.
All of this started with President Trump wanting to reindustrialize the United States. His tariffs was a pressing agent in making this possible.
Yep, you heard it from him. If it wasn't for Trump's tariffs, this would have never happened. So if Democrats were to retain power after Joe Biden, none of this would have happened. None of it at all.
At the speed that we're doing, and now shortly after less than a year, we're now manufacturing the most advanced chips for AI here in the United States. This is just the beginning of it. With the partnership of the supply chain in Taiwan, TSMC is an incredible partner, a strategic partner for the United States in bringing manufacturing of the most critical sector of technology here to the United States. This is just the starting point, where after that, with Foxconn, Amkor, Spill, Wistron, so many of our other partners, we're going to bring the entire supply chain of building AI infrastructure back here in the United States. By the end of the next 3 or 4 years, we'll probably manufacture, we're on target to manufacture about $500 billion of AI supercomputing technology to be installed here in the United States.
Look, that's good. It's also kind of scary with the whole AI thing. Like, what's that going to look like in terms of basically everything? But if you have kids that are about college age, and if you really want them to go to college, but you don't really want them to get indoctrinated in college, which is very understandable, science, engineering, technology, and math. Or, of course, there's also law. I guess it depends on what kind of law like obviously being a lawyer would be the best way to go with that, but also being a doctor, things like that. But as far as what he's saying, you know, the AI industry, they could certainly use a lot of positions in the near future. Plus, there's also Apple. Apple announced that they're investing $600 billion into the United States, and that's going to create a lot of jobs. So they're going to need a lot of tech graduates. So now would be the time for that to happen for their future employees to start heading into college right about now, because he's talking 3 to 4 years. All right, Rapid Response 47 made in America. NVIDIA and TSMC unveil first Blackwell chip wafer made in the U.S. Okay, so this is an article. I'll link it. I'm not going to go through it because it's video night, man. This is video night. This ain't article night. Oh, actually, I might just save that for tomorrow because I do the Swamp Monday through Friday, and tomorrow's Monday. All right, no context humans. Man loses it when his coworker dresses up as him for Halloween. This is in a news studio.
What are you dressed as? Are you dressed as me?
Fox 26.
I have never been cosplayed ever in my life. That is pretty funny. My head ain't that big. Oh my God. What is wrong with you? You are sick.
That dude's gonna be laughing all day. Every time he looks at her, he's gonna be cracking up.
We go and stand next to each other.
Oh my God. What is wrong with you?
You look alike.
Yeah.
You see, I got
yeah,
the
you've
muscles
been
now.
hitting it.
She even put on like shoulder pads.
Well, I gotta have all this extra stuff. Oh my God, man. You got me.
All right, that's hilarious. So I don't know if that was this Halloween, October 18th. I'm assuming that this just happened, although it may have possibly been last year, but still, that's hilarious. All right, Steve 2A, God, Family, Country. What the fuck? Are they crazy? Are they considering suing to stop Trump from paying the military?
They're on the wrong side of every single issue.
October 18th.
Now what they're trying to do, you know, Trump has found the money to pay
Which
the
would have been
military.
yesterday.
He all got paid.
As of right now.
On the 15th, you're going to get paid again on the 30th. They're filing a lawsuit to stop the Trump administration from paying the military.
That is psychotic.
They're actually going to court and filing a lawsuit and saying that he doesn't have the authority to pay the military.
Oh my God, please make this happen.
This is the Democratic leadership.
Dude, the political messaging just sells itself. Those campaign commercials are just going to sell themselves. Democrats keep handing all of these gold nuggets to Republicans one after the next, that they're actually suing the Republican Party to try to stop the government from paying the troops. What the hell?
What upside is that?
There is none.
They lost their leverage. So they're gonna sue that Trump can't pay the military, so you can't get a check. This is what they're running on.
And what's going to happen if the court actually agrees with the Democrats and says, okay, fine, the government cannot pay the troops right now? I mean, how is that going to look for Democrats if they actually win that lawsuit? Yeah, they'll pat each other on the back for the first 5 minutes, and then they're going to realize, oh my God, the country's going to hate our guts now because we just stopped the troops from getting paid. Not to mention, like, nobody who's going to be a troop is ever going to vote Democrat ever again. I mean, not that most of them probably are to begin with, but still. All right, Planet of Memes. This is why you homeschool your kids and why Charlie Kirk said college was a scam.
My first name is Victoria. I live in Havertown, Pennsylvania. I'm out here today protesting because I'm an American historian. I've been teaching American history for 40 years. I've spent my entire life thinking about America, and I'm watching it go down, and I am terrified. Also, I have 3 grandchildren, and I'm out here for them. As a professor of American history, I taught immigration history, I taught women's history, I taught African American history, not to mention just mainstream modern history. And I know that in every single one of those areas, this government is trying to wipe out all of the research, all of the knowledge that we have gained in the last 40 years. So that
Oh my God, lady. That would be the Democrats trying to do that, lady. I mean, you've already got Wikipedia that they're changing words around all over the place, and they're trying to erase certain parts of actually what happened in history because they want it to fit their own narrative. Plus, it's not Republicans that are screaming hate speech and trying to get rid of certain words because they just don't like what those words mean. Like the word pedophile, they're trying to get rid of the word pedophile and replace it with minor attracted person. It's not the right that's trying to change history, lady.
We know more about immigrants and women and African Americans, and they're just trying to wipe it out, erase it. Too much work has been done, and it's too important for our democracy. So that's why I'm here.
Lady, which side were the ones who were tearing down statues over the last 3 or 4 years? Was that the Republicans that were tearing down statues everywhere? I don't think so. I'm pretty sure that was Democrats. That was the Democrat side who were doing that. Remember those statues all over the country? Not only statues that were out in public, but statues that were inside government buildings. They were covering them up, and they were voting in state Congress, state houses to remove statues across America. This happened in states all over the place. They were doing that. Democrats were. How convenient does, I don't know, whatever. Anyway, Mila Joy, proof that none of the anti-Trump protests today are organic. Democrats bust them in after paying them for their time. I would not be surprised at all. MAGA always shows up for free because we love our president. There's nothing for Democrats to love except money.
Well,
Busting them
the
in.
media's going to act like there was some major anti-Trump protest in Washington, D.C. today. But the reality is, it's fake. They were all busting on buses, like right behind me. Stay tuned for Laura Loomer's exclusive footage that will show that a lot of the anti-Trump protesters in D.C. were literally busting. You know, it's really funny. We caught the left busing protesters into the Kamala Harris rally back in October.
Oh, yeah. It goes back to 2020. They've been doing this for a while.
Kamala Harris's Las Vegas rally, also last October. So I don't understand why the left thinks they can continue to bus people into Washington, D.C. and important events to astroturf a crowd and don't think Laura and I are going to catch them. We caught you.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure. All right. Next one, American truckers, patriotic shipping manager describes trucks being seized from illegal aliens. She goes on to provide her testimony of having watched the living standards of our American drivers suffer because of illegal aliens being dumped into the industry. She finishes with a praise of Donald Trump and Homan for their efforts. God bless this woman. God is moving mountains.
A driver come through my gate and he was giggling and laughing, and I asked him, I said, what's so damn funny? He said, honey, he said, Customs Border Patrols on the island, that's what we call our port, the island. And he said they are confiscating trucks left and right. He said one of the guards told him that they've damn near already took away at least 20 to 25 trucks because these people do not speak English or could not read English. So,
insane.
I am absolutely tickled. October the 1st has been my 29th year out here. I have been dealing with truck drivers, trucks, containers, whatever you want to say in the shipping industry. And I have watched truck drivers' pay go from good to shit.
Oh, I'm sure.
They flooded it with a bunch of illegal immigrants that will work for low wages.
Yep, and they'll sleep in their trucks.
Our country, folks.
They'll live in their trucks.
It might take 4, might take 10, I don't know, but we're going to get back there. And when we do, y'all are going to see how this country used to run.
Amen.
Because that is the backbone to America, is the American truck driver.
Yes, it is.
God bless America. God bless the American people. And God bless Tom Homan and Donald J. Trump. Y'all keep up the good work, fellas. America's got y'all's back on this one.
Oh, yeah. God bless you too, man. All right. That was a good one. Sammy Nathaniel, Rep. Rashida Tlaib, starts screaming at the top of her lungs after Byron Donalds calls her out. So this was posted 4 hours ago. I'm not exactly sure when this happened. It may have been a week ago. It may have been a while ago. I'm not 100%.
I think it's important.
We'll give this a listen
Mr. Chair.
and a watch.
Just like in D.C., Home Rule was one out of Black freedom struggle in the fight for civil rights. We can't be passive right now. So nobody over there should take anything we say like so personally, as if we're attacking them. No, we're attacking a process.
Dude, it's been the Democrat Party since day one who's been
and I
suppressing
think it's
black
really
rights.
important. We need
Give me
to
a
stand
break.
up against this fascist takeover. That's not a bad word. It's a fact. And here in DC
Democrats
and
are
across
fascist.
the country, it is so incredibly important, Mr. Chair, that this committee does not allow rhetoric that defames and or paints Washington, D.C. in a way that you all haven't really truly seen. You're just reading it. No, you're just reading it or something off of some.
Will the gentlelady yield to a question?
Yeah, I think it's really important.
Will the gentlelady
No, I
yield?
don't yield. I don't even have time. I can tell you.
Your time's expired.
It is
Mr.
expired,
Okay.
Mr. Chair.
All right, shut up.
But you all
I
live
like
here,
Mr.
and
Lee.
you're not telling people the beautiful parts that you do see in our
Mr.
nation's
Lee.
capital. And no, it's just wrong how we're doing it.
Chairman, I think it's
Wrong.
insane
So
that the
triggered.
gentlelady doesn't have an argument, but she's going to refer to me and some of my
You yield to
colleagues.
Mr.
like
Donald.
we were from the Third Reich. This is
You're going to
insane.
look at
It's
14,
insane.
15-year-olds
It
as
is
a bunch of
insane.
criminals?
She's
It's
fucking
insane.
psychotic.
Do I look like a member of the Third Reich to you, Miss Talib?
please,
Is that what I look like to you?
No.
You're the one taking your voting
Is that what
card.
you think?
Giving it
Is that
to
what you
somebody.
think?
Giving
Is
it
that
to
what you
Karl.
think?
No, that's unethical.
I think it's radical and I think it's insane. And I'll respect everything that you say. But to say something like that to myself and all of my colleagues is way out of line. It's way out of line. It's way out of line.
Regular order, Mr.
Way out of line.
Regular order.
That's okay. But it's okay, right?
That is not how it
It's
goes.
okay, right?
You hold yourself accountable before you talk about
Hold
Washington,
myself
D.C.
accountable.
Mr. Lee.
Washington, D.C.
Hold your
out
own
of your
self
mouth.
accountable. How
Keep
about
it out of
that?
your mouth.
Hold your own
I'm
self
trying,
accountable.
Mr.
How about that?
Free D.C. and make sure you vote
Oh my God, dude, she's devolving into fucking slogans.
else.
Free DC, free DC. Oh my God, dude, what an unhinged lunatic. Byron Donalds is awesome, man. He's from my state. I think he's in Naples. I think the Naples area. All right, unless Barry and his cohorts are arrested, nothing will ever change. Accountable.
Should shake every single American in their shoes. I hate to say this, but President Barack Obama, there is now incontrovertible evidence that he was the spearhead of a seditious conspiracy to subvert the will of the American people and overthrow the United States government back in 2016. We must, absolutely must, hold every one of these criminals accountable for the crimes that they committed. They are the most heinous crimes committed in American history. James Comey, John Brennan, Clapper, Rice. Biden was in the meeting in July 28th in the Oval Office. They briefed Barack Obama on Hillary Clinton's plan to, quote, tie Trump to Russia collusion lies. It consumed our national discourse for 5 years. It undermined a sitting, duly elected president. It sabotaged administration. It framed a three-star general. It destroyed and ripped this country apart. We had a constitutional crisis, the likes of which I don't think any American can fully comprehend. It is atrocious, and every single one of them must be held accountable.
Yep, and also don't forget the mainstream media. They're absolutely accountable to this too by trying to brainwash the entire American people in the process. Been going on about it for what, damn near 10 years at this point. All right, Dr. Jebra Fauché, when asked why she was out there, her answer was succinct. I'm not familiar with that word. And compelling. Sometimes words are hard for me. Let's take a look at this.
King's Day.
And why specifically are you out supporting No King's Day?
I think protest is important.
Why are you protesting?
How much time do you have?
A couple minutes. And what's the main reason you're out here protesting President Trump?
I agree with a lot of the decisions that are being made.
Is there any decision in particular you disagree with?
Okay, so I would start with, well,
Buzzwords. He's a fascist.
I don't even think it's appropriate for me to have this interview.
So what brings you out today?
That's what happens. That's what typically happens. When you try to hold their feet to the fire, which isn't even really that hot of a flame at all you're doing is just asking them a simple question. You're out here taking time out of your day when you could be doing a million other things. You could be grocery shopping. You could be going to the mall. You could be taking your kids out to go see a movie or something. But no, you're out here protesting at a political event, and you can't tell us one thing that you don't like about the person you're protesting. It's a little crazy. All right, the persistence. Scott Pressler, so cold, soaking wet, knocking on doors in the rain. We need more help. We need more boots on the ground. Will you help me win in Pennsylvania? killing my body doing this work. Dude, he's been doing this for years, man. His ground game is insane.
Hey everybody, this is Scott Pressler out here in a rainstorm, knocking on doors for you, working for you every single day. Man, we would love some more help. This election on Tuesday, November 4th is so important. I wouldn't be out here getting soaked for you unless I cared. Help us. Earlyvoteaction.com, Tuesday, November 4th, New Jersey, Virginia, Pennsylvania. Come on, my friends. I need your help.
Dude, could you imagine if we had just 100 more of Scott Pressler? I think only having 100 of him would probably change the face of American politics in the future. I really think it would. Yeah, he is unmatched in his ground game. He is nonstop. He's been nonstop for probably since 2016, maybe roughly 2016, 2017. I can't remember when he entered the scene, when he cleaned up that alleyway in Baltimore. It was sometime around like 2017, maybe 2018. But he has been nonstop ever since then, every single day. All right, Homeland Security, the lies, smears, and hoaxes from the fake news are designed to demonize our brave men and women of federal law enforcement. Watch as DHS debunks their lies and sets the record straight.
Hi, this is Lauren Biss, Deputy Assistant Secretary at the Department of Homeland Security. And I'm here to set the record straight on a few fake news stories from this week. First, CNN claimed our ICE officers are engaging in criminal behavior and are, quote, kidnapping and snatching innocent men, women, and children off the streets and detaining American citizens. This is completely false. ICE does not kidnap people. This is a ridiculous smear the media is peddling to demonize ICE law enforcement, who are already facing a more than 1,000% increase in assaults against them. The brave men and women of ICE are enforcing the law. The real criminals are the worst of the worst illegal alien, pedophiles, rapists, murderers, and gang members that CNN continues to run cover for. And clearly, Newsweek doesn't care about the facts in their reporting. This individual is a criminal illegal alien from Poland with an
I read that exact post on my show
for weapon and drug charges. In the U.S., he was also charged with driving under the influence. Newsweek, stop spreading propaganda for criminals and start reporting actual news. Next, we have a truly outrageous lie. This journalist claimed she was violently assaulted by federal officers while walking
from
through a bus
WGN.
stop. This is false. Deborah Brockman was throwing objects at law enforcement and was placed under arrest for assault on a federal law enforcement officer. Undersecretary No.
He had to double cuff
If you
her.
lay a hand on a law enforcement officer, you will be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law. And finally, the fake news has been working overtime to push this hoax. Media hacks are peddling the narrative that our men and women in law enforcement improperly use force against quote-unquote peaceful protesters. This couldn't
They're
be further from the
obstructionists at best.
clipped video the fake news is circulating doesn't show that agitators were blocking an ICE vehicle from leaving a federal
That's
facility,
obstruction.
impeding
8
law
years
enforcement
maximum.
operations. Over and over again, law enforcement ordered these agitators to move off of the federal property so the vehicle could move. Law enforcement
Also public
verbally
streets.
warned these agitators that they would use force if they did not move and stop impeding law enforcement operations. They did not comply. Shortly after, rioters began throwing rocks, bottles, and launching fireworks at law enforcement officers on the roof. Under President Trump and Secretary No, if you are obstructing law enforcement, you can expect to be met with force. Period. Tune in next week where we debunk more lies and fake news stories.
Oh yeah, I'm sure she'll have plenty to debunk because they're just not stopping. They just keep doubling down. That's all they know how to do at this point. Benny Johnson, this is such an incredibly powerful answer from Dan Scavino. Laura Trump asked him what major differences he's seen and personally felt between President Trump's first and second term so far. Take a second to listen to this. So they're quotes, so we'll just play it.
I know we talked very early on in this administration about the difference between President Trump, the first term, because you were here for the entirety of that, and the second term. How is he day to day now? Where do you see him overall? And I feel like the sky's the limit for this president and this administration.
The differences are absolutely incredible.
We're not being attacked every day or investigated every day. The head games they played, they wanted to silence us. They ultimately wanted to put us all away for life. Then when he announced for the presidency.
Yeah, it definitely did.
And we went full steam ahead. We worked in courtrooms behind the scenes. We're putting out Truth Social posts. We're campaigning. We're turning his press conferences in at the conclusion of a court hearing. Butler, Pennsylvania, we talked about last time, changed everything. Literally changed everything. It was from that point forward where I knew that he would be the 47th president of the United States. And then he just brought on a great team of people when we won the presidency. I mean, it is all surreal. I don't have time to even sit back and think about it and think about what we've been through and what we've done and what we've achieved. There will never be a President Trump ever, ever, ever again. He's changing history for the better. He's fighting every day for your children, your grandchildren, your great-grandchildren, my family. That's why I do what I do. We could go out tomorrow and make millions of dollars. I instead take a government salary to fight for the American people every day. And that's everybody in this administration, all for President Trump because they adore and they love the guy and they love the American people. They're patriots. And that's why we're here. We're on a mission. We're on a mission to deliver for everybody out there. And we're going to continue this mission. And we're going to fight hard each and every day, no matter what hit pieces come our way, no matter who tries to take us down. We're going to fight, fight, fight.
God willing, man. It's an uphill battle that we're fighting, but can't give up. You can't give up. This is the only country in the world like America. There's no other country like us. This is the hill to die on. All right. They're losing it when they can't dictate the narrative. They're lost. That's G-Paw Indy.
No, tell me this. Are you a scientist?
I am
not
not
a medical professional. No. Are you a researcher?
But the so-called expert.
Then stop talking about this, because you are no expert.
Shut up. I did not refuse the National Guard. The president didn't send it. Why are you coming here with Republican talking points?
Speaking of, like, no kings, I mean, how long has Nancy Pelosi been in office? Like, for, like, what, 40 years or something? All right, James Woods. Okay.
What it takes to get to a bookstore. Walking, it's a beautiful back entryway. This is how we roll. We vaccine it. I'm gonna hand this over to Crystal.
It's the real behind the scenes action right here.
So we got a few books signed. I hope somebody comes, finds them, send me a video, let me know how you doing. It's like, what's the best way to kind of tackle a bookstore? When you don't know what you want, it can be intimidating.
Well, I think that people should, you can always ask a bookseller. Ask the booksellers. They love talking about books.
If you don't know Questlove, he's the sweetest human being. This seems like a good one. Get that for Cooper. So shout out to Questlove. You know I love you. All right.
Mission accomplished.
That was fun. We'll see you guys at the next bookstore. Until then, read, vote, and be good. Be kind.
All right. Why'd they have to make a big spectacle out of that? Why not just go in there and sign some books and leave? Why do you got to get all that freaking filmed? All right. Joe Rogan podcast news. Bill Mayer, you're embarrassed to be American. Well, guess what? The feeling's mutual because you have no perspective.
Seriously, This is a serious problem for Democrats. Less than 1 in 4 Democrats under 30 say they're proud to be an American. 54% say they're embarrassed.
Fake news media.
Embarrassed. Like America's your mom picking you up at school? You're embarrassed to be an American? Well, guess what? The feeling's mutual. Because you have no perspective. Is America perfect? No, of course not. No country is. Although don't get Tucker Carlson started on Russia. Globalize the intifada is the catchphrase that's really catching on these days, as if worldwide suicide bombing and cosplaying Islamic revolutionaries is the answer to our problems. At an AOC Bernie Sanders rally in Idaho last month, someone threw a Palestinian flag over an American flag, and the crowd erupted in approval. What should have happened after that is one of the adults on stage should have told their young, loyal followers, this is not a symbol of freedom. This is.
Well, dude, it's because those leaders on the stage, they hate America. fuck is Donna Brazil there?
If the thought leaders in the Democratic Party keep encouraging and not rebuking the idea that America is cringe and the people who run Gaza are great, the Democrats are doomed. Alyssa Slotkin's right. Liberals are weak and woke, especially the white ones, and they indulge all sorts of nonsense from their kids, a pattern that then continues on in the Democratic Party. Last election, it was all the gender stuff, the insistence that men can have babies and such, and now I fear
men can have periods.
We like the terrorists is the new that. Liberals need to push back on the dumb ideas that come from their children. The Democrats' problem is the energy of the party.
It's not coming from the children, dude. It's coming from the mainstream media. It's coming from the professors. It's coming from all these Democrat, left-wing, progressive, socialist operatives. That's who it's coming from.
He's with the young, and the young are with the terrorists. That's not good. So talk to your children and remind them, you don't really want to live like your heroes in Hamas. All the shit you do all day, it was all made in America. Your smartphone, your Grubhub, your freedom to bitch about America, that's all American stuff. You tell your phone you want a milkshake and a guy brings it to your house. Please, you couldn't survive a week living in Intifadaville.
All right.
Seriously, this is a...
All right, well, I mean, to be fair, I don't know if the phone was made in America, but hopefully sooner rather than later it is. Anyway, Freemason, not both sides left wing.
Don't give me this both sides bullshit. Mr. Director, I want to ask you. The man who tried to kill Republican congressman at the congressional baseball practice, nearly killing House Majority Leader Steve Scalise, left-wing or right-wing violence?
Sir, I believe it was a left-wing ideology.
Okay. Burned down cities during the Summer of Love in the George Floyd riots. Left-wing violence or right-wing violence? Left-wing. The Waukesha Christmas Parade massacre. Left-wing or right-wing violence? Left-wing. The Lee Zeldin stabbing attempt. Left-wing or right-wing? Left-wing. The Covenant school shooting in Nashville. Left-wing or right-wing? Left-wing. The Butler, Pennsylvania assassination attempt on President Trump. Left-wing or right-wing? Left-wing. The Trump International...
Yeah, and now it's your turn, Democrats. Start firing off all the right-wing attacks.
West Palm Beach assassination attempt, left wing. The Abundant Life Christian school shooting, left wing. The United Care CEO's murder, left wing. Tesla's burned, keyed, damaged, firebombed, left wing, left wing. The murders at the Israeli embassy, left wing. The ICE facilities firebombed, left wing. The Minnesota Catholic school shooting, left wing. The anti-white Charlotte and North Carolina stabbing, left wing. The attempted Utah News State firebombing, left wing. And now, of course, the culmination of this vile trend, a left-wing assassination of Charlie Kirk. So don't give me this both sides. If we want to get to unity, let's be honest. Let's be honest.
Absolutely. 100%. He did go off, man. Okay, Mila Joy, 2 legal immigrants faced off against 1 protester. I love facts and logic.
I am a legal immigrant. I was born in Israel, and I came to America as a child, and my parents, they actually had to fill out applications, and I had to go get sworn in to get my citizenship. So why are these people, why are they allowed to cut the line when my family had no line to cut?
How long did that take?
Whatever it took, we stood by the line.
Probably years.
Whatever this country told us was legal, we stood by that line.
Were you facing persecution?
I didn't come here illegally. I came here on a visa. I was a child. I came here legally.
Was your country persecuting you?
No, my country
was persecuting me, and I came here and I became an American citizen. I'm a legal alien.
My country wasn't persecuting me.
How long did that take?
For me to become a citizen, I did all the due process, man. Every due process, every paper. Years.
We don't care how long it takes.
Years. And even if it had taken 20 years, you know what? Let me tell you something. I've been here 22 years. You know when I became an American? A year ago. Best day of my life after I moved with my kids.
Okay, so
well, there you go.
Yes.
Were you illegal before that day?
No, I was not illegal. I was following the rules. I was under visa.
Follow the rules,
and
asshole.
They said, this is 1 day over your visa, out. I was out. I was respecting the country that was welcoming me. That was giving me an opportunity and a chance.
Okay, so let me ask you a question. Damn, it actually just left my head.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Well, of course it did, because you never had one.
We got him.
I believe that old school one was in reference to Saddam Hussein. All right, Secretary Sean Duffy, if you don't speak English, you can't read the rules of the road, which costs lives. One state refuses to comply with this, and that's California. I'm going to do my part to stop a potential tragedy by withholding $40 million in funding from the state until they comply with the order. I want to say that I showed this on Friday.
An infant child and 3 adults are dead. Police say he understood English, but mostly spoke
Tigrinya, which is native to Ethiopia, a country in East Africa.
Grand jury is indicted
So we can't read the
truck
road
driver
signs.
accused of causing a deadly
Got it.
pileup on I-35 this spring in North Austin. 5 people, including a child and a baby, lost their lives.
Federal officials say he had been deported or left the U.S. voluntarily 16 times over the last 22 years. Now he's behind bars in Colorado for vehicular homicide. The crash killed the 64-year-old man.
The driver failed an English language proficiency exam, also called an ELP.
Investigators say Singh was behind the wheel of a semi-truck that made an illegal U-turn across all northbound lanes of Florida's Turnpike. A minivan then collided with the truck, killing all 3 people inside.
If you don't speak English and you can't read road signs, you're putting people's lives in danger. If my rules were being enforced, it could have prevented this tragic loss of life. One state still isn't compliant, California. We gave them 1 month to get with the program. They refused. Gavin Newsom, he may not care, but I will not rest until I do everything in my power to stop the next deadly crash. That's why I'm withholding more than $40 million in funding from California.
Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy says he'll
Which,
withhold
frankly, that's just a drop in the
$14
bucket.
million from
California.
Secretary Sean Duffy announcing he will withhold $40 million from California. This is over English language requirements for truck drivers.
The Transportation Department says that 25% of commercial driver's licenses are issued to non-citizens or non-permanent residents.
Truck drivers
25%.
who can't read road signs or speak English should not be on our roads. This isn't controversial. This is common sense.
Well, they're going to need a lot more than $40 million to punish California to the point where they're going to make any changes. They're not going to make any changes over $40 million. All right, Internet Hall of Fame. I love how she just walks away, too. Damn, he fell all the way out of his chair. All right. Let's go on to the next one. One bad dude, goals. See what this one's all about.
I don't understand why I can't live life the way that I please. I want to pretend that I wake up on a cruise and I grab a robe, put it on, drink my coffee, and stare off into the ocean. It's not a hard thing to accomplish, okay? It's called affirmating it, and I'm putting it into existence. So hop off my taquito when I'm living my best life. So beautiful. There's a dolphin. Could look out into this water for days.
I mean, look, lady, as long as you're earning your way, more power to you. I wouldn't, hold anything against her for that. I enjoy wearing a nice, comfortable robe and sipping on some coffee in the morning. I think we all do. All right, Shani Rich, Buddy did not hold back. Take a look at this.
Should transgenders be allowed to own guns?
Transgenders.
Why?
Transgenders are fucking crazy. They shouldn't be allowed anywhere normal people should be allowed. You should just put them all on an island and let them just chill out over there. When they're in regular public, they need special rules. They need special applications for things. They act like they're this brand new species that just came about, like they weren't already born a male or female. So they blow everything out of proportion. They make everything irrational. I'm actually pretty tired of these motherfuckers, for real.
Should transgender...
Damn, dude, you didn't hold back. Look, I don't agree with the whole Second Amendment thing. I think anybody who's an American should have the ability to bear arms because it's our God-given right to do so. The only one that I'm conflicted on are with felons. I think what I lean toward is that if they went to prison, they did their time, they paid their debt back to society, they're not on parole anymore, they're free and clear, they should be allowed to get their guns back. But that's just my opinion. I'm sure there's going to be like a lot of a lot of people that would be very dead set against that, but, you know, I don't know. It is what it is. All right, Secretary Sean Duffy, my team has reached out to the trucker who recorded this chilling video. He did the right thing reporting the trucker driving the wrong way to police. This easily could have ended in disaster. Foreign truck drivers not being able to understand the rules of our road is a crisis that is putting lives in danger. USDOT is doing the work to fix it and save lives.
You have got to be kidding me. I mean, what the are...
Yeah, right here.
Dude, what?
Oh, man, he's going to force him to stop.
What are you doing?
I'm going that way. Keep it right here. But it's not working. Then I'll go the other side.
Let me ask you a question, man.
Okay.
You are going the wrong way down the freeway. You are committing a felony right now.
Okay.
Yikes.
Well, one, why the going the wrong way down the freeway?
That's all right. I'm doing it back. Sorry, sir.
Well, no, I'm just asking because
I'm so sorry, but when is the phone? I go that side. When that's now.
Yeah, turn around when you have a clear spot. Okay. Don't even move your truck. Turn your hazard lights on for one. Turn your
he had
hazard
them on,
lights
to be fair.
Now. Your hazard lights, your blinkers.
Yeah, he had them on.
Your blinkers, turn your hazard lights on. They're on, okay.
Absolutely insane. Oh, I'm sure that dude was pissed. He was pissed.
Real.
It is unfucking real. I mean, he went through the toll plaza or the way station or whatever this is. So I'm sure they've got his plate on camera. I'm sure they're catching up to him if they haven't already. But that came from the Secretary of Transportation. So he got his eyes on it. All right. Mila Joy, again. Traffic blocking protester meets a car and lots of consequences. I voted for this.
You are not going to believe what happened to this lady while she was leaving a No Kings protest. And when I say leaving, of course, I mean impeding traffic. It's not just what happened to her while she was leaving that's hilarious. It's what the cops gave her after the fact. Take a listen.
Hi, my name is Jennifer Tiernan. And on Saturday, after leaving the No Kings protest, I was struck and injured by a motor vehicle while leaving the protest. The cops here in Catskill, New York, took several days to get an accident report together, and they would not give me any information. They never interviewed me after the accident. I've been asking for information for days because...
Look, people, full stop. If you don't have a dash cam, just pause the video right now and go order one. If you have to even go through Amazon, so be it. Or if you go to Walmart, I believe they even sell dash cams in Walmart at this point. They're cheap. You can get one for $20, records in 1080p quality. Almost all of them are equipped with infrared, night vision, dirt cheap. Everybody should have a dash cam right now because somebody like her would step out in front of your car. Yeah, they're going to cause nothing but problems for you for years to come.
I've been very traumatized by this event. And now, in order to
and you know she's going to try to sue for millions of dollars.
The cops here in Catskill are telling me that it's my fault that I put my human body in the street.
Yeah, it's called jaywalking, asshole.
By a motor vehicle. The people in the motor vehicle actually got out and started screaming in my face after they had struck me. I spent the rest of the day in the hospital having x-rays and MRIs, CAT scans on my pelvis and on my head. And they never came to check on me. They never came to ask me any questions. They never did anything. And now they're giving me a citation for being in the road. So,
jaywalking.
Honestly, I think that's a bunch of crap. And I'm very, very upset because I want to press criminal charges against this person who hit me.
That ain't happening.
And the cops just handed me a citation saying that it's my fault, that my fragile human body got hit by a motor vehicle after the protest. I have not yet seen the videos. They refuse to show them to me without a FOIL request, which of course I will file.
Oh, I hope the driver had a dash cam.
That's all I have to say for now.
Or at the least they were driving a Tesla.
Protect and serve? I don't think so.
Oh, I think they protected and served your ass just what you had coming to you.
Exactly.
That's what you get for impeding
They
traffic
protected the
while
motorist.
protesting against the very same thing that you voted for. All the Democrats seem to forget. We voted against no kings. Remember when they shoved Joe Biden on the ballot and sued everyone that was running against him? I do. And after Joe Biden stepped down, they didn't hold another primary. They just shoved Kamala on the ballot. But you go ahead and keep protesting against no kings. Thankfully, we won't have a king in office for another 3.5 years. And Donald J.
Thank
Trump
God.
is still your president. Let me know what you think about the story
And
in
then
the
off to
comments,
JD
which I
Vance.
think is absolutely hilarious. And if you enjoyed the video, be sure to follow. I'll see you soon.
Yeah, and did she do it on purpose? It wouldn't surprise anybody, I don't think. Consumer dash cams, they really gained a lot of traction in Russia, like probably in the early 2010s. And it was because people would leap out in front of cars, and eventually it became required to have insurance in Russia. You have to have a dash cam because if anything like that were to happen, they wanted to make sure you got it on camera. So yeah, absolutely everybody should have a dash cam. I have one for the front, and then I have one facing out my back window too, just in case. All right, Benny Johnson, the average reign for an English king is 18 years. Nancy Pelosi, she's been reigning in her office for nearly 40 years. Yet Nancy Pelosi posted a video attacking Trump for being a king. Let's break that down. Trump has been in office for 4.5 years. Pelosi's been in office for 38 years. Trump is term limited. Pelosi is running again in 2026. Of course she is. Trump lost billions in office. Pelosi has made $300 million in insider trading, which of course you'll say, no, that's my husband. I'm just an innocent, naive little woman. I don't know what's going on with what my husband's doing. All right, Trump is that first person in his family to run for office. Pelosi is a Nepo baby who inherited everything from her rich, powerful, connected Democrat daddy. Nancy Pelosi's No Kings video might be the biggest self-own of the year. She can't even snap the crown, then turns off the comments. Very regal. Pelosi is not against kings. She is just the American version of one.
The capacity for Democrats to self-own these days has to be studied. Here's a video that Nancy Pelosi posted for her No Kings protest. Looks like it was filmed at her nursing home, and she's trying to snap a plastic crown. But what you'll notice is that Nancy Pelosi can't snap that crown. They have to do a very messy jump cut for the crown snap.
Yeah, because remember when Trump was given his State of the Union address? That instantly came to mind when she was sitting behind him, and then she started tearing up his State of the Union speech, and that that she actually had to make little tears in it in order to get it to shred when she wanted to do so as soon as he was done with his State of the Union address.
You're gonna tear up the crown.
Hilarious. I had to do a jump cut.
After
That's
this,
funny.
Nancy Pelosi locked the comments on the
course she did.
post. What does that mean? That means that Nancy Pelosi
Because she
doesn't
would've
want to
gotten
hear from all of
ratioed.
you. That seems like what royalty would do. By
Right.
royal decree, they'd tell you to be silent and not make fun of me. Nancy Pelosi doesn't want you to notice the fact that she's been in politics, serving in Congress for nearly 40 years, 38 different years. Nancy Pelosi has been in Congress longer than I've been alive. Nancy Pelosi is also from an aristocratic, nepotistic family. She's a Nepo baby. Her
That's
dad
hilarious,
was a big-time Democrat kingmaker from Baltimore. Nancy Pelosi inherited her office and all of her money and all of her power, just like a king would. And Nancy Pelosi, of course, has enriched herself like a king or a queen. She's worth $300 million. How's that possible, given the fact that she only makes like $100,000 a year?
Right.
Even in all the
Wouldn't that
many
take,
years
like,
of her service
10,000
in Congress,
years?
that doesn't add up to really like anything close to her net worth. Oh, well, she does it through insider trading, meaning that Nancy Pelosi can just go make money out of thin air the way that a king would increase their treasury by stealing from the poor and giving to the rich. So reverse Robin Hood here. Nancy Pelosi is, in fact, the queen, the king that she so despises. She embodies everything wrong with American politics. It really has become like a royal family. Her, Mitch McConnell, Chuck Schumer, all of the
establishment,
old and diseased that stay and literally die in office because they're so old.
And power hungry.
Much like royalty. And more importantly, you know, the average term of a king in England was 18 years throughout the entire English monarchy. Was between 18 and 20 years. So Nancy Pelosi has ruled twice as long as a royal monarch would rule in merry old England for the crown that she can't snap, right? Yeah, this is the true problem.
Might have a lot of power, doesn't have a lot of strength.
Has only served in office for 4.5 years. Nancy Pelosi served for 40. You tell me who's the king?
Well, really, the only thing you really got to point to is the fact that she can't use the word earned, because she certainly didn't earn it, but she had acquired over $300 million while she was in office. Can't make that shit up. All right, Mr. Producer, new Rep. Hakeem Jeffries doubles down on his hate Caroline Leavitt. The White House press secretary is an unhinged disgrace. If she's opening her mouth, that means she's lying. So I think, yeah, okay, so I've got other Hakeem Jeffries one. I'll make this the last one, because I'm reserving the rest of these Hakeem Jeffries videos for tomorrow, because I want to make a part 3 of my Hakeem Jeffries videos, which is seemingly to turn into a series, because the 2 Hakeem Jeffries videos that I made ended up being my top 2 viewed videos on my entire channel. So I figured maybe once a week I'll just kind of dig around and see what Hakeem Jeffries has been up to in the mainstream media, and I'll just make a video out of it. But anyway, I'll play this one and then I'll call it a night.
Well, the so-called White House press secretary is an unhinged disgrace. If she's opening her mouth, it means that she's lying. And clearly, we've seen that in this context. The protests that are going to take place today, the peaceful expression of dissent, is entirely consistent with the American way. In fact, it's as American as motherhood, baseball, and apple pie. It's what the framers of this Constitution envisioned. You know, in this country, when the people fear
brainwashing your entire constituency,
there is tyranny. But when the government fears the people, there is liberty. And it's important for everyday Americans of every political persuasion to continue to express peaceful dissent with the out-of-control policies of the Trump administration, and the fact that Republicans continue to unleash extremism on the country in ways that are deeply harmful.
Well, if you're so anti-government tyranny, then how come your party has been constantly trying to take away our firearms for the last God knows how many years, like 50 years at this point? All right, so I guess I'll just cut it there. I would like to see the one from Caroline Leavitt, though. I don't think I have that. You know what? I'm going to look. Actually, you know what? This might be it. Yeah, here it is. Caroline Leavitt goes off on Hakeem Jeffries after he called her a sick, demented, ignorant, and stone-cold liar for merely speaking the truth. So here's what she has to say.
Sure would, Sean, and thank you for giving me the opportunity to do so. Look, Hakeem Jeffries is simply lashing out because he knows that I am telling the truth about the modern-day Democrat Party. What I said, and it is a fact, is that the Democrat Party caters more to pro-Hamas terrorists, illegal aliens, and violent criminals. And let me walk Hakeem through the facts of that statement. When it comes to pro-Hamas terrorists, it was Hakeem's House Democrat caucus that voted against a resolution condemning the October 7th attack on Israel. It was Hakeem Jeffries' Democrat caucus that supported and encouraged the pro-Hamas protests that ravaged college campuses and engaged in illegal harassment of Jewish students across the United States of America under Joe Biden's administration. When it comes to illegal aliens, the American people know the truth about that. The Democrats allowed them to flood our country. Why? Because they view that constituency as their future voters. And when it comes to violent criminals, look at what the Democrats support in terms of crime. Soft on crime policies like cashless bail, letting violent criminals out back into the streets so they can recommit violent offenses against law-abiding American citizens. The Democrat Party puts Americans last. That's why they overwhelmingly lost the election to President Trump and the Republican Party, and that's why they're holding this country hostage right now from law-abiding, tax-paying American citizens who want the government to be open. So Hakeem Jeffries should stop calling me names. He should stop trying to fight my boss, President Trump. And he should go back to doing what he was elected to do, the business of the American people in Congress, and encourage Senate Democrats to open the government. And I see Hakeem Jeffries saying House Republicans are out. They're not even here. Yeah, because they did their jobs. And they passed a clean continuing resolution at the behest of President Trump to keep the government open. And now Senate Democrats and Chuck Schumer are blocking that to fight Donald Trump, and it's despicable.
Wow, man. So which one do you think is more intelligent between those two? I would kind of have my money on Caroline Leavitt. Hands down. Hakeem Jeffries is an idiot. So anyway, that was interesting. That was fun. Video night. Hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll be back with The Swamp Monday through Friday. So tomorrow is Monday. I'll be dropping the video sometime between 10 and 11 o'clock p.m. I hope you'll be around to see it. And thank you so much for watching. And please subscribe to the channel if you have a quick second to do so and like the video. And I'll see you later. Have a great night.